Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener! Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew. You know what? We got a show where we got to break down the Detroit Lions game. It is the last show before Lions versus Titans.
Yes, but it's funny how with the Red Wings winning last night to extend their winning streak to 3, a certain someone has been summoned from Kalamazoo, and that, of course, is Justin Satawa, a.k.a. Korean Jesus, a.k.a. Jesus.
That dude,
Surprise.
Justin. What up, though?
And I am here, and I'm glad to be here. Shout out to chat, shout out to the crew. I'm so happy to be here, and a great Wings win last night. What can you say?
Hey, you know what? We're going to talk about it in just a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's your boy, Brandon, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network. And you know what? Let's just introduce this elite booth this morning. Shout out to our brother Matthew Broder and JB Smooth. He's not on the show this morning, but in his stead, in the titty booth this morning, it is Intern James.
First debut, yeah!
Hey!
What's up, everybody?
How does it feel in there in the gritty titty booth?
That's good, man. Feels good. I've been watched from JB and Spenny a little bit. You know, they let the boy watch, as they like to say, on Big D. And so I could learn, you know, like they learned from their fathers before them.
So they learned you something.
Yeah, so hopefully I don't make too many mistakes. I'm sure there's going to be some, but bear with us.
Hey, you know what? I don't think that there's any better way than to be thrown into the fire, man. Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
You're Ron Holland right now, man.
We all had
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Hey, and you know what? Y'all know that voice right there. Detroit's #1 draft pick. That is KG in the sound booth. What up, though, Black Hollywood? I love the shirt.
Man.
I love the shirt.
Hey, appreciate it, man. You know I'm a Batman fan,
love
bro.
it.
But you know, it's Friday. I do got a job and shit to do, unfortunately. But you know, we having a little breakfast. You know, we trying to get in the mode. It's Friday, bro. It's Friday. We done worked hard this week, and it's time to cap it off the right way, man.
Hey, let's talk about it. You want to tell the people what we are talking about today, and then we can get into these Red Wings.
Absolutely. We're going to do a lot of previewing the Lions-Titans game because as much as we think as fans, and the Vegas believes so as well, that the Lions shouldn't have much trouble, I like to have respect for an NFL opponent no matter how depleted or how porous that opponent might be. So we're going to break down some keys, some things to maybe watch for, might revisit a certain talk about a certain defensive player who is having a hell of a start and might be in line to take home some hardware. And then at the end of the show, we are going to do the WUW Crew Fantasy League breakdown with KG presenting everything. So it's going to be a hell of a fun Friday show. But first, the Detroit Red Wings get their 3rd win in a row last night by defeating the Devils by a score of 5-3.
The Wings.
It's crazy, too, because because this is what I do. I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm glad that Justin is here, because I've got more of the numbers angle to it, and Justin has the experience as somebody who plays the game at the collegiate level. Guys, the Devils outshot the Red Wings 40-20 last night, and the Red Wings were 40% on the PK, which is morbid. You should lose by 100 if that happens. But they won. Justin, how were the Red Wings able to pull that one out last night?
The Red Wings have been able to win because their goaltending has been no short of elite. We have Cam Talbot, who played an amazing game last night. He is in 11th in goals against over expected, which for layman's terms, for the non-hockey analytic guys, means that he makes more saves on shots that should be goals than he lets up. And he is 11th in the league. And then Alex Lyon is 2nd in the league in that stat. So the Lions' goaltending has been elite. You have 2 of borderline top 10 goalies right now in the NHL. And what you're going to see as the chemistry continues to improve is that this team is only going to get better defensively and get better on the power play, which are the two things that this team needs to improve on. But those are two things that come with time and persistence when you lose critical guys and bring in critical guys that have to fill in those roles that Perron and Sprong left on this team.
Yes, and speaking of David Perron, where was he most special at? The power play. But last night, one of the other ways you can counteract being 40% of the PK is being 40% of the power play, which is, I believe, what the Red Wings were. They had a couple of power play goals. And how about third period Patrick Kane? Isn't it nice for him to be here for the entire season?
He looks like he's completely healthy.
Yeah.
He looks like he took that offseason to really heal up and get right. And he looks right. He looks like he's moving well. I think that adding Kasper to that line with Tarasenko really adds a nice mix to it. That they're not so much the same player. Kasper is more gritty. He doesn't fear anyone. He's very good defensively. I really like that matchup. It kind of injected a little life into that line. And that line is not going to have trouble scoring. And then they might go through small stretches that they struggle, but this is a line that is offensively dynamic and can do. You saw it last night. They controlled the puck almost the entire game when they were on the ice. They looked fast, which you haven't seen in a couple games. It was just really great to see across the entire board for the Wings.
So this is a season in which, I believe that Patrick Kane coming back here shows the belief that someone like him, a high IQ guy from a hockey standpoint, we understand the legend that he is and where he's going to be when it's all said and done. And a lot of people thought that he was going to bolt on Detroit and go somewhere to be able to better protect his ability to maybe win another Stanley Cup. He chose to stay here in Detroit. What does that say about the Yzer plan and where our focus should be as the season goes? Because you said it. There's going to be some ups and downs this year.
I think you should have complete faith in the Yzer plan still. For looking at the start of the season, I mean, you could look at Nashville, for example. Nashville had just as many free agent acquisitions as we did, and they're terrible. They are one of the worst teams in the NHL right now. And the Red Wings are middling around the middle right now, and they're not even close to playing their best hockey. A lot of teams have a lot of consistency that they brought back this year, and they're able to just jump right back onto where they were last year. We couldn't do that. We brought in Tarasenko, and I think that you are seeing the linear growth on this team that will only continue to get better. And in terms of Lalonde, I think that he really needed to make a move like the Kasper on the Kane and Tarasenko line because there was no energy on this team. I was honestly thinking it was something to do with him, the fact that like Dan Campbell can inspire an entire locker room, can make him work. And it didn't seem like Lalonde did that in the first couple of games. It seemed like they were really slow on the back of their heels, and now it seems like they're starting to find that aggressive standpoint where they can be the aggressor in games even with less shots and can still make plays.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because in some ways I don't know if this level of offensive play and winning games is necessarily sustainable. Shout out to Neil Rule for mentioning that on Twitter, by the way, or X. But and Justin, you know this as well as anybody. Getting these early season wins against teams like the Islanders and the Devils, that's absolutely huge because the Islanders, we think that there's a chance that they're on the playoff bubble. I think that's debatable, but still, you got to get that win, even though you had 11 shots on goal. And then last night against the Devils, do you think it's a fair statement to say that the Devils would have made the playoffs last year if Jack Hughes didn't miss 20 games?
I would say that's a fair statement completely.
Yeah, so you think that they're going to probably
This team is a bubble playoff team,
yeah.
But the thing is in the East, there are 13 bubble playoff teams.
Yeah.
There's probably 4 locks, but the rest of them are there. It's a very competitive league. I mean, like Sean Bleacher said, the Canadians are good. There's a lot of teams that are good in the Eastern Conference. It's going to take a lot, and I think something that me and you talked about before the show, Sam, is with the goalies, the ability to use them as a true tandem, and how big that is for the Red Wings. Because with Cam Talbot's old age, you're going to want to be able to save him for the entire season. You don't want him to run out of gas. And Lyon is shown to be inconsistent at times. So if you do what Lalonde did, where Lyon plays really well, and instead of just giving him back and letting him go back and start against the Devils, he puts Talbot in there, puts complete faith in Talbot. Talbot plays a great game, and I'm assuming you're going to see Lyon in the next game, and it's going to keep both of their level of consistency higher, and it's going to raise the value of that goalie room as well.
Every single Red Wings win has involved excellent goaltending. You've had 2 excellent performances from Lyon and 2 from Talbot, and that's really all you want from a tandem goaltender situation. They're both going to have moments where they struggle, but you also would like to see moments where they look dominant. What they actually are is somewhere in between, especially with Cam Talbot at his age, but we've seen both of them just be superb so far this season. And honestly, if you take out the Ville Husso disaster, and the Red Wings got rid of that pretty quickly, the goaltending has been pretty good. The only team that they've had trouble with besides the Ville Husso disaster is the regular season wagon Rangers.
Yeah, and it's also the style of hockey that the Rangers play. The Rangers are a very bad matchup for the Red Wings because the Red Wings aren't necessarily the most physical team in the world. They're getting there. They're bringing in more guys to combat that problem. But as of right now, the Rangers are bigger, faster, and more skilled than the Red Wings, and have better goaltending through and through. It's a tough matchup. Honestly, you don't expect to beat those type of teams. Maybe you steal one here or there. But in terms of making the playoffs, you got to beat the Devils. You got to beat the Islanders. Those are the teams that you focus on beating. So I don't necessarily have an issue losing the Rangers, but that's where you have to get to. Like, that's the level that you are chasing to be right now, is to be that level of consistent and have that much depth on your roster.
And before we move on to Lions talk, I want to ask this, because the offense, and we talked about it before the show, this is still, I believe, going to be the strength of this team, but they have not performed up to expectations. They've kind of stolen a couple of games, I would say, in terms of offensively, even though last night they made the most of their opportunities and had their best power play performance. Shout out that nice pass from Patrick Kane to Dylan Larkin, by the way, to give them the lead in the third period. Are you more encouraged or discouraged with the 4-3 start?
I think it is what it is. I think that it doesn't really matter. I think that my expectations of this team haven't changed at all. I think this team is going to be right there till the end and should be in the race for a playoff spot, especially if they continue to improve. I would say the start is what I'd expect the start to be, personally.
Yeah, and I would say that I'm overall encouraged, because I don't think that Lucas Raymond is going to have this much of a goal drought throughout the rest of the season. I think he's the type of guy who has shown, even in his, you could call sophomore slump season, that he's not just going to fall off a cliff.
He'll explode in the next 5 games.
I could not agree more.
He'll have a huge night in the next couple of games, and then he'll be off and running from there. You just need one, especially for a guy like Lucas Raymond.
Yeah. They're going to win a couple of games where either Talbot or Lyon is a sieve. And it's probably going to be because, in large part, due to guys like Lucas Raymond. It's the ebbs and flows of a long season, of a long NHL season. But glad you were here to recap the Red Wings, Justin, and we're going to be using you a lot, too, when we do Lions talk. Good to see you again, man.
Good to see you. Good to be here.
Yeah, and listen, we got a lot of Detroit sports this weekend. Yeah. The Red Wings and the Pistons, they both play a couple games this weekend. The Red Wings, they're on the road against the Sabres Saturday at 1. They take the 4-3 record and 8 points there. And then Sunday at 6, they play at home against the Oilers. The Red Wings, they got an opportunity to really kind of stave off what looked like a slow start, and now they look like a team that's finding their rhythm and who they are. And the Detroit Pistons, they play tonight against the Cavaliers on the road. That game is at 7:30, and tomorrow night they play against the Celtics at 7. It's gonna be interesting to see how these teams that we believe have like the right leadership in place now trend after probably some tougher starts at the beginning of this season.
You know what? If you're the Detroit Pistons, if you're JB Bickerstaff, you know what? Make it the JB Bickerstaff revenge game. Make them regret getting rid of you, Cleveland. I mean, make Cleveland regret getting rid of you, JB Bickerstaff.
Hey, let's go, man. Let's go. And we got to get into the Detroit Lions. They do take on the Tennessee Titans.
Should be fun.
That's kind of where I'm at as well. But I just don't want to get ahead of myself, so we have to at least talk about it first. But let me tell you guys about Second Best. Want to know where the best pregame show is? The best pregame party, period, for every single Detroit Lions home game? Hey, listen, it's at Detroit's very own Second Best Bar, located at 42 Watson Street for the ultimate fan experience. While catching, enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show. Only at Second Best Bar. Come get some.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network. It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Over 50 years, you expanded to offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hey, what up, though, people? It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. Hey, and you know what? I need you guys to go ahead and satisfy that like button. We got to talk Lions. We got to talk Titans. We're going to break this game down, but go ahead and smash that like button real quick for the WUW Crew.
Do you think Chase got that?
That's why I'm just letting people know. Just going ahead and just satisfy it
Do
on
we got
anyway.
acapella this thing? Like, what we doing?
I don't think Chase got that in his
Yeah,
bag.
that's what I said. Just go ahead anyway.
It took me
and treat
20
it right.
times TDing to get that one.
Tell them to treat it right and treat it nice anyway, man. But let's get into the Detroit Lions versus the Titans because the Lions have an opportunity to put a little bit more separation between themselves and one team in particular who lost last night, the Vikings, in this NFC North. And when you look at the top of these standings for the NFC, you see your Detroit Lions at the top. When you look at the overall NFL standings, and I was just telling Flannel this, you see, Flannel's Chiefs at the top, our Lions in the middle, and then Chase's Commanders, number 3. And this is a game where I'm expecting the Detroit Lions to go in and just have an absolute field day. And I got to ask you, all of you guys, chat family, please, is there anything to be concerned about in this matchup versus the Tennessee Titans?
Concerned, no. Mindful, there was something that I was a little bit surprised about when I did the Flannel Sam Titans deep dive, because I haven't watched a lot of Titans football this year, because why would I? Because they're not fun to watch. However, when you really look into them, the Titans actually have had a pretty good defense this year. Would it shock you to know that the Titans are number 1 in the entire National Football League in yards allowed per game? Number 1. To me, that's absolutely shocking, but it's true. They're a third in passing defense in terms of passing yards allowed per game and seventh in rushing yards allowed per game. And don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily think that it's something that the Lions have to worry about, because the only offense that they face that's even comparable to the Lions is the Buffalo Bills, and look what Buffalo and Josh Allen did to them last week. It's something to be mindful of, because they actually have a pretty good front four. Harold Landry, future Lion maybe, he's really good. Arden Key as a bookend is good. And then at the defensive tackle position, you've got rookie Tavondre Sweat, who's been one of the better defensive rookies this season. And of course, Jeffrey Simmons, who is consistently one of the best and most respected interior defensive linemen in the NFL. And not to mention, they did sign L'Jarius Sneed, but L'Jarius Sneed hasn't really played that well. And they just traded for Jerome Baker. I'm not saying that this defense is going to that they're going to stop the Lions or that they're even really going to limit them, but that is something to be mindful of, especially since the Lions are coming in without Jameson Williams. It's one thing that stood out to me about the Titans that I wasn't really expecting.
Yeah. Hey, that dude, Justin, I want to be able to get your thoughts on this as well. The concerns for the Titans. One, I believe complacency. We've seen the Detroit Lions through the years go and largely handle business, and that's what I'm hoping they continue to do. I don't believe that Dan Campbell, we talked about it a little bit earlier when you were referencing maybe some components between he and Lalonde of the Red Wings, is that Dan Campbell, he's a leader of men, and not just a leader of men, but a motivator as well. I don't really have any concerns with them being complacent, but right now, playing down to your level of competition, and Titans are 1-5. I think that's one of those things that you want to make sure you have your eyes wide open for.
See, I would be worried. There's two things. The first one is it's smack dab in the middle of two divisional games, where you could totally see the Lions looking ahead to the Packers next week. You have a chance to go up 2 in the division and really take a hold on this NFC North. So for that reason, I could see the complacency creeping in, the fact that the Titans aren't that good. But we're at home. Yeah. We are at home. We don't lose at home. I really don't see the pathway for the Titans. I think that their D-line's really good. Jeffrey Simmons is elite. He's going to make the run game tough. But I truly believe we're just too balanced for this Tennessee roster. And then our defense is good enough where Will Levis should throw like 3 picks. I mean, let's just call it how it is. Will Levis, I mean, go back to doing Mayo commercials, because you are not an NFL quarterback.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Like, look, we want to pay this its proper attention, right? We got to break the game down. We have to talk about it. It's a game on the schedule, and I'm really trying to keep myself from believing, you know what? This is about to be an absolute bloodbath. I just keep feeling like this is going to be one of them games where if they wanted to, you could see it. They could put up 60 points in this game, and you would have no worries.
Stop it.
That's just what I'm feeling right now. But that's why I'm like, okay, let's just talk about the game. Let's check the temperature of the chat. Let me talk to my ball knowers as well. KG, man, what's the concerns? Like, do I need to dial back the Kool-Aid just a little bit? Because that's what this segment is going to help me with today.
Absolutely not. When the Lions suck, they wasn't giving us no motherfucking man. But just being real, like Sam said, their defense, they do have a real defense. And I'm just go through a list of the players. Of course, Jeffrey Simmons, we all know him, but they do have Tavondre Sweat on that line. They just traded for Jerome Baker, new linebacker. He's solid. Harold Landry, of course, somebody that we want maybe in a Lions uniform in the next couple weeks. Shout out to him. Quandre Diggs, we all know Quandre Diggs, Amani Hooker, and L'Jarius Sneed. So that secondary is good as well. So
it's experienced.
Yeah. So you need the offense. Come on. You need this Lions offense to come out early. You don't want to give the Titans any hope. So the Lions offense needs to be in rhythm, and they need to be in rhythm early. Take the Titans defense out of this game. And on the offensive side of the ball, you're not worried about Will Levis or, Mason Rudolph or whoever the hell they got under center. But they do got a solid run game. Tony Pollard has been really good for them this year. Ty Spears, another change of pace back. He's solid as well. So you don't want to let them get the run game going, because they do have a deep threat in Calvin Ridley, who has had his spots this year, but with inconsistent quarterback play. Too. I don't think he blows, but he hasn't had good quarterback play this year, because he has went off a couple times this year.
Yeah, but this is why we break it down, because a lot of people are going to do this one thing. They're going to look at the matchup. They're going to see 1-5. But what you guys are talking about, these things do matter. And that's why I asked that question that way. Like, you know what? I know what the narrative could feel like. That, hey, go in there and just run roughshod over them. But there are some keys to this game that you brought to the table as well, Flannel.
Sure, and when we do this show, sometimes I'd like to channel my inner Dan Campbell or inner coach who aren't going to take any opponent lightly. And don't get me wrong, I still think, and we're going to get to that later, that the Lions do win and win fairly comfortably. But it's about being mindful. But another interesting number I want to give on this Titans defense, because I told you when it came to yards, passing yards, rushing yards, they're really good, at least on paper. But this defense, you know, I won't even say this defense, I'll say this team is 21st in points allowed per game. And you wonder, how is that possible when they're not giving up very many yards? Well, it's because Will Levis and their special teams is kind of effing them. Look at the first game of the season. They gave the Bears 14 points with one of the worst pick sixes I've ever seen in my life by Will Levis and a punt block for a touchdown. And then against Green Bay, Will Levis threw a pick six as well. And Will Levis has been just an overall turnover machine. So I think that bodes well for the Lions, because who is more opportunistic than Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph? The answer is absolutely nobody. So whether it's Will Levis, whether it's Mason Rudolph, I'd prefer Will Levis. But no matter what, this Lions defense, I think, is going to be well prepared to make whatever quarterback's life hell. At least in the secondary.
Hey, you know what, chat family? You guys tell me in the chat as well. How are you feeling about this game? Where's your temperature at here? What type of game do you think this is going to be? One where the Detroit Lions are in control of the complete game, absolutely no worries, because that's where I'm at right now. I do get it. There is some things to make sure that you take notice of, but I'm kind of feeling like Justin on this one, where it's just wash. What up, though, Chase?
Hey, what up, though? I'm not too worried about this game. I mean, like, I know the Titans are a good team, and they stop teams from putting up a lot of yards on them, but I'm looking at our defense and how many forced mistakes the Titans make themselves. I think we can see a lot of different players have big games against Tennessee this week. So should be a fun game. Back at home after a few games on the road, and we were in Dallas and Minnesota. So, you know, we got this one at home before we dip on out to Green Bay, and I think we're at Houston afterwards too. So going to be hopefully soaking in the vibes downtown before we get this experience again.
Oh, it's definitely going to be hype. You know what? Definitely want to see all of the people downtown. Drop by the pregame show that will be at Second Best Bar. Say what up, though, to all the different Woodward sports personalities that are going to be there as well. It's going to be electric. I'm hoping, like I said, that this is going to be one of those games that the Lions just handle business. But, you know, it's going to be another week without Aidan Hutchinson on that defense. And I do believe that there are players both on the offensive side and on the defensive side that can help with the loss of Aidan Hutchinson as well for yet another week. Yes. And I want to ask you guys when we get back, hey, who are some of those players?
Absolutely. But first, I got to tell you about Dispo. How would you like to win free bud for a year? That's right. Free smoke, weed, reefer, flower, however you refer to your favorite cannabis product. It's your chance to win free cannabis for a year, compliments of Dispo Dispensary. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen, sign up, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. Don't miss out on this insane giveaway. Sign up today to elevate your game. Dispo Dispensary, your local plug. Must be 21 or older to enter. Terms and conditions apply.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Here in Michigan, made with all natural ingredients for better flavor, Taller, the Dutch long drink from New Holland Brewing Company, is shoulders above the rest. Made from New Holland small batch gin, 100% Griot grapefruit puree for a fresh and delicious flavor. Taller is your local long drink.
Hey.
There we go.
Hey,
right.
It is Planet Fitness with 50 plus Metro Detroit locations. It's where your fitness is essential, and that's where you guys should go if you want to get in shape for the holiday season or just for any reason at all. You're on a budget, or if you got a little bit of disposable income, upgrade to the Black Card, because that means you get all the amenities and you can go to any Planet Fitness location. I'll tell you what, it worked for Neil Rule, it worked for Spencer Raxter. They are on their fitness journeys and they are thriving with their glow ups. So you guys, if you want a Neil Rule or Spencer Raxter type glow up, Planet Fitness is the place for you. It's where your fitness is essential.
So you mean one day I can be Spencer Raxter too?
One day.
Hey, shout out to the heavies. Big D Energy.
I am far from there, but I can get there.
We'll take this journey together, Mr. Flannel Sam.
Yes, we will.
Hey, just like this journey of talking about the Detroit Lions versus the Tennessee Titans, and I continue to try not to crack a smile because I continue to feel like, bro, this is one game in particular where I'm drinking all of the Kool-Aid, man.
Oh, yeah.
All of it. I want to see them go in there and look like a well-oiled machine. I want to see Ben Johnson go in there and we continue to see that deep well that he loves to talk about. This is one where I'm hoping when you're talking about finding ways to really establish yourself as a team, as really a new team without Aidan Hutchinson, this is, in my opinion, the perfect game to do that. And we're going to have some guys that step up. Final Sam, who are you looking forward to seeing against the Titans really take that next step forward?
All right, so let's start with a couple of defensive guys because I've got a couple teed up. Let's just call a spade a spade. The Tennessee Titans might have the worst offensive line in football. And the fact that the Lions haven't gotten anybody yet to replace the production of Hutch, I don't think that will matter at all for this game. And I'm not worried as of yet. Because this offensive line, rookie J.C. Latham, Pete Skoronski, Lloyd Cushenberry III, Dylan Raduns, and Nicholas Petit-Ferre. Don't know if I pronounced that right. Not trying to be a prick. It's just they're not good, no matter who they are. So I think this is a big game for Aleem up the middle to wreak havoc, DJ Reader, Levi Onwuzurike. I look for them to just be menaces in the run game and to get some pressure up the middle. And honestly, I know Josh Paschal is still questionable, but he played, I thought, really well. I thought in his time against the Cowboys and last week, he played really, really well. Mm-hmm. And honestly, and I know this is a guy that almost is like Lord Voldemort right now. James Houston, get right game. I'm not saying he's going to play a lot of snaps. I'm just saying that if you get one rush where you can just abuse like a J.C. Latham, this would be the time to do it. J.C. Latham's going to be a good football player, but he is a rookie. And hell, even Isaac Ukwu, I just think this D-line will miss Hutch the least out of any game that you're going to play the rest of the year. And hell, by the time you play the Packers, by the time you play the Texans, you might have some reinforcements.
And that's what I'm saying. Not just the reinforcements, but also this rhythm. James Houston is the player that was on my mind because I feel like, you know what, you're going into this game where he's had some success against the Titans in the past. Like, just go out there and ball out. You're at home. You have a great opportunity. Lomas Brown talked about this on E&E as well, that he got an opportunity to speak with James Houston, and he understands just how important this is for him to take advantage of this. You never want to see a teammate go down, but if they do, that teammate wants to know that his guys can help to pick him back up as well. Yes. And that's where I believe that James Houston, I'm hoping he's taking this week and taking this opportunity, which all these football players do, to make sure he is ready to go and get after the quarterback. Knowing that this team can develop some identity of pressure even beyond Hutchinson, to me, is very important to their long-term goals this year.
I just cannot believe that in a fully healthy season that James Houston continues to be as ineffective because of what we've seen in 2022. And I get it. It could be the ultimate flash in the pan, and right now it's looking like that. But that was a hell of a flash in the pan. And for the record, if the Lions were going up against a good and experienced offensive line, I would expect nothing from James Houston. It's because the Titans' O-line is so bad. Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, they don't have great pocket presence, particularly not Will Levis. Man, that guy sees ghosts and escapes really, really quickly. So this is a game for somebody, even if you're Pat O'Connor or somebody like that, this is a game for one of the lesser known guys to step up and make an impact. Because right now, you don't have a good edge rushing group on paper, but in this game, it shouldn't matter. And I'm hoping that, to put it in baseball terms or even basketball terms, that this is one of those situations where you might start slow. You get a free throw to go, though. You get one single, even if it's a bloop, to just drop, and then all of a sudden, you feel a little bit better about yourself. You see the ball go through the net, and all of a sudden, you're hooping. That's what I'm hoping this game can be for people like James Houston and for Josh Paschal to be able to kind of build on really some of his best football and most promising football. We all know that he has this potential, but can he put it together on the field? Can he stay healthy? And we got the opportunity as a network to talk to him, man. And he seems, at that time, he was like, yo, I'm ready for my opportunities. I've been working. And at the time, I remember some of the comments that were in reply to that video from just some of the Lions world out there. And there was a lot of people who didn't believe he could do what we've seen him do. So to know that these guys got a good opportunity to really bolster what this team identity is and prove that it is more than just a Hutch thing. Yeah. I think that it's a good thing, and utilize this Titans game to go out there and do that. This, to me, should be a springboard for this squad. It should be. And if you're talking about the defense as well, there was a certain Tennessee Titan that was just traded to the Chiefs named DeAndre Hopkins, who the Lions no longer have to worry about. So as far as receiving cores and weapons, the quarterback receiving core combination, this should be on paper the easiest game that the secondary has had. So look for a big game from Terrion Arnold, Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson. I know that they still have Calvin Ridley, the Titans, and I value him more than most because I don't blame this season on him. And you know how you know that, because DeAndre Hopkins wasn't putting up numbers as well. But the point is that D-Hop, even though he's not who he once was, he's still really good. And even though his quarterback throwing to him was Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, he's still somebody that you have to be mindful of, or that you had to be mindful of that you no longer do. And that is going to weaken the Titans' offense, an offense that didn't need any weakening. But they got it.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? As we get everybody else in their comments as it relates to who they want to see, who they believe will step up, I also want to ask the question of who do you think is going to absolutely ball out too? But that dude, Justin, man, hey, who do you think is going to step up this week? And I see people in the chat. They are done with James Houston. They believe he is washed. They don't think that there's anything left on the treads. And if there is something left, I've seen people say, hey, play right and get traded.
Remember what I said. If this was a good O-line, I wouldn't expect anything of James Houston. This is what some people would call his last chance. And some people think that he's already blown his last chance. But if there's anything left in you, James Houston, do something against this Titans O-line.
I believe that there should be no struggles for our D-line, especially like Flannel said. Their O-line is not anywhere close to being reliable at all. What I really want to see is Terrion Arnold this week.
Ooh.
He's got a good matchup
Justin.
with no D-Hop in the lineup. Really have the opportunity to show off his coverage skills, to lay off the handsiness, maybe get a pick. I would expect, you know what, screw it. Terrion Arnold for a pick. I don't know what it is on Caesar Sportsbook, but keep a lookout on Woodward Bets for that bet. I'm throwing that out there. I like Terrion Arnold to have a big game and really show why we drafted him in the first round.
Hey, I like the sounds of that, man. Yeah. I know KG like the sounds of that, man.
You know I want to see Terry.
What up, though?
You know I want to see TA get his first pick, man. He deserved it, man. Back-to-back weeks without getting flagged. But I think it's a Jahmyr Gibbs game loading, man. And I know Monty did not get injured. Thankfully, he didn't. But I can see them maybe, giving a little bit more Gibbs in this game than Monty. Maybe, let him take a backseat in this game just to make sure that he's okay. But
yeah, because they take different types of hits.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
But, man, Jahmyr Gibbs against this defensive front, I feel like he will F them up. just being real. I expect a big game out of Jahmyr Gibbs because they're going to run the ball heavy, man. This secondary is pretty good on the Titan side. So I expect them to run first like they always do, set up the play action, and then go from there. But that running game is going to be working. The Titans have no answer for an offensive line of this caliber.
And Ben Johnson, just this mastermind. It's going to be interesting. But intern Chase, what up, though, man? Who is the player or players, man, that's going to step up?
I think we'll see Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph stepping up again and having big games. Like, the quarterbacks, whoever it's going to be, Mason Rudolph, Will Levis, like they've been known to make mistakes, make foolish turnovers, and I think the guys who've been, eating off of those turnovers the most are just going to continue to, perform well and continue to show they're all pro level safeties.
I absolutely think that they're going to ball out, not just step up. I see Stick Radio and others in the chat, man. People are they think that Brian Branch is about to go crazy. Absolutely crazy against the Tennessee Titans. And I see one person here, Jeff, he thinks Jake Bates gets a 65-yarder this game. If that's happening, I think that's even more kind of making fun of the team you're playing than what they were doing to the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh, Jake, you know what? I can see the path because part of me thinks that they're not going to be kicking field goals, but part of me is also like they get the ball, maybe 20 seconds left before the half, just try a long field goal, maybe get a first down or two, try a long field goal, maybe extend that 17-point lead to 20, which I think we all think is possible. Maybe. It is indoors. It is at Ford Field, and we've seen Jake Bates, albeit in the UFL, hit some nukes, I'll just say that.
Hey, Dante151, he said, could we see some Vaki? Sione Vaki.
This might be that game. This might be that game where we see Hooker again. I'd probably rather see Vaki at this point. I mean, hell, maybe they fake something with him. I don't know.
KG, though. Like, if we can find a way to keep this team fresh, keep the team healthy, have the team in a position where they have that late season stamina because you know what they're planning for. Last year, it was like balls to the wall. This year, you got to have to kind of play the ebbs and flows. They don't want no more than one loss per quarter of the season. But you also know, especially with some of the big injuries they've already had to start the season, you have to keep David Montgomery healthy. And if this is a game where you're able to reduce that workload, KG, I'm 100% with you, man. And maybe we do see some aspect of some of the running backs behind Jahmyr Gibbs as well.
Oh, are we talking about putting Vaki at running back? Well, that's intriguing. I'll just say that. That is very intriguing, especially if you want to limit a workload, which I don't think is, I think could be very smart, especially considering the scare that they had with David Montgomery. I think this is, honestly, I think this is the type of game, and I'm not trying to be too above my skis, because I've been very adamant about showing the proper respect to an NFL opponent. But I think one of the running backs, whether it's Montgomery or Gibbs, in a hypothetical world could not play, and Gibbs was, and Vaki was the change of pace, and they would still win.
It's like, I feel like in the past we would talk about these games, and it would have to be a game you speak of in terms of like it could be a game. This is one right now where I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to continue to say it.
Listen, we can respect the opponent, but at the same time, this is the Lions' game to lose.
Absolutely.
Like, flat out. You are not supposed to drop a game to this franchise. I'm sorry.
And on that note as well, like, if you truly expect this Lions team to be where they are, you don't lose games like this.
Not at all.
Like, you don't even come remotely close to losing
I don't
games
even
like
want to
this.
hear anybody mention the word trap game. I could understand the Cardinals early in the season because they had the formula of the formulas that we've seen beat the Lions in the past, especially with the mobile quarterback who was absolutely airing it out at the same time heading into that Lions game. But this one is one where this should be completely stoked. You don't even ask the question of scared at all.
Well, that's the thing, because on paper, it has all of the hallmarks of a trap game. You mentioned sandwiched in between two big road divisional games against teams that you're going to be fighting for the division with. However, what type of teams don't fall for trap games? Well-coached teams. That's what we've seen Andy Reid do with the Patriots for this. I mean, Andy Reid with the Chiefs for this current dynasty, and what you've seen Bill Belichick with the Patriots for their dynasty as well. I'm not saying the Lions are there yet, but the Lions are a well-coached team that doesn't look over anybody. So I don't get concerned with the typical elements of a trap game affecting the Lions in terms of them winning or losing the game.
I love it. And when you got dogs in your team, man, like Jared Goff, like Brian Branch, like Penei Sewell, it has to make Dan Campbell's job so much easier because you know he's a real one. And when he talks, those guys come through. They don't just listen. They don't just try. They absolutely go out there and do work. And we got to talk about one of those guys, Brian Branch, as well as other players that we want to highlight that we believe will ball out against the Tennessee Titans in the next segment, man. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. But first, speaking of Lions, I got to tell you about Woodward and Maine and the pregame show.
Talk about it.
Hey, Detroit, on game day, wake up with Woodward and Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champions, your Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit, every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. Woodward and Maine, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tall Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. And then the pregame show, of course. Be joined by these two trustworthy fellas, Neil Rule and Sean Pelegian, to give you all of the best Lions game day coverage. You hear that? That's KG in the future when Terrion Arnold gets his first pick. It's the New Holland Brewing Company pregame show. Every game day, Neil Rule and Sean Pelegian bring you the best Lions pregame show, Sunday to 10 a.m. to noon on Woodward Sports, live at Second Best Bar in Detroit. The latest injury reports, fantasy sit and starts, and the inside scoop on your Detroit Lions. Join us for every Sunday home games live at Second Best Bar in Detroit, your official guide to Lions game day on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Tall Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Chevrolet.
Prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness. We're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice. To prove
you and I pay our bills. Unlike my opponent, Dave Coulter, I won't take advantage of my job because I work for you. I'm Nick Jonai, and by the way, I do pay my water bills on time, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Nick Jonai for Oakland County.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports. of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law
Divorce.
issues. Divorce. Shouldn't say that so emphatically. It's bad. It's bad. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
And we are back. It is Waco Woodward. We appreciate you guys for being here. Hope that you got our back, chat family. Go ahead and smash that like button. Let's run up the lights. It is the game preview show for the Lions versus Titans, our last show before that game. And realistically, this is one where everybody, we know that the Titans, they're looking at the Detroit Lions coming into this game as the number one team in the NFC. Really a team that looks like they're going to very well control their own destiny in the NFC, and number 2 team in the NFL. And like KG was saying during the break, bro, they still got the Super Bowl expectations even without Aidan Hutchinson. The Titans, they've made some moves and some changes. You got Terrell Williams on the other side. I don't believe that at all. This is a team that's just going to be like, the Lions, we're just your doormat. But like you said, this is a game that a Super Bowl caliber team is just supposed to win.
Sometimes you don't got the horses. And in this case, that's the Titans, man. Especially on offense, you do not have the horses to stop this Lions team.
Talk about it. And I know who got the horses, though. The Detroit Lions do. And one player in particular that we're going to feature is Brian Branch. But I saw you guys getting some of your players as well that you believe are going to ball out. Continue to get those players. And I've seen names like Sam Laporta in the chat and Jameer Gibbs and others. But a lot of Brian Branch love. And Flannel Sam, I got to just ask you, man, because Mina Kine says, not just the best player on this team, not just the best player in this division, not just the best player in the conference, the best player in the best defense player in the NFL, Brian Branch.
Whew.
Brian Branch,
man, and
he's been balling.
It got me to thinking: if Flannel Sam, if I myself were to do a Defensive Player of the Year ballot, would Brian Branch be on it? And the answer is an emphatic yes. If I were doing my own Flannel Sam Defensive Player of the Year rankings, I would put Brian Branch 4th. And before anybody says that that's too low, it is really hard for a safety to win Defensive Player of the Year. That's reserved for the likes of the Troy Polamalu's and the Ed Reeds of the world. But Brian Branch is playing close to their prime levels right now, because when I just look at Brian Branch, he has what I call the holy trinity of great defensive play, or more the Flannel Sam holy trinity. You've got the counting stats, you've got the PFF metrics, and you've got the eye test. He has that in droves, because Brian Branch, he is second in the NFL in PBUs, tied for second in interceptions, and is the number 1 ranked PFF safety in the National Football League. The dude is absolutely balling out. That's why this season, for what he's done, he kind of is like our Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu type player. Is he as good as they were in their primes? Not quite.
Not yet.
But it's closer than anybody would have fathomed, and he is still ascending.
But he is earning and has earned the respect of his team like Ed Reed did. His teammates are already saying, yo, this guy is one of the best players I've ever played with already. And you know what? This is a beautiful kumbaya, because we believed we needed guys like Emmanuel Mosley, guys like CJ GJ, that might have been a crazy argument we had for like a week. We thought we needed what those guys brought to the table, and what you see Brian Branch kind of combining perfectly, beautifully, is that leader that's motivating his team, that's being able to will his squad, even though he doesn't have the Super Bowl experience. And he's also doing it out there on the field, man. I remember that game leading up into the Bijan Robinson Atlanta Falcons game last year. And then Brian Branch started talking a little bit more, because I do believe he cares about his teammates. And Jameer Gibbs was getting kind of watched in the media in that matchup. And he said, I can't wait to play this game. I'm not shying away from any contact. I want them to know I like to hit.
Yes.
I was like, all right, Brian Branch.
We done seen him hit.
We've seen him. And you guys remember that game. That's the one where I'm telling y'all, Bijan Robinson still has not retrieved his helmet from that game. And that's what I'm talking about. You're talking about the impact on the field, off the field, in the locker room, and in other people's locker rooms, because you got a game plan for this guy. Yeah, people could think it's too low, but just to think about this from the beginning of the season, who would have believed?
Yeah.
Top 5 Defensive Player of the Year, Brian Branch.
Yes, and honestly, if you want to have him even higher than 4, I'm not mad at you for that. It's just, as I said, it's really hard for a safety to win that award. However, I'll tell you what, the way that he is playing, and think about this. I alluded to it at the beginning. The Tennessee Titans are a turnover machine. Brian, like, I'm not
this is
saying...
a Brian Branch game loading?
This is a Lions defense game loading.
I was about to say, it's really hard for me to call for interceptions because the best at doing so get about a half an interception per game. Usually the leader is somewhere between about 7 and 10 or something like that. But we've seen it with Brian Branch. It's not just that he's lucky or fortunate or in the right place at the right time. That ball to CeeDee Lamb, it was him baiting Dak Prescott into believing that CeeDee Lamb was open. He did the same thing with Sam Darnold and Jordan Addison. He just has that nose for the ball and that expert level coverage. And that's what'll lead him to getting those interceptions, because a lot of people, and I'm not calling anybody out in particular, interceptions can be a little bit random. I don't think that that's really debatable off of tip balls or just bad quarterback throws, overthrows, and all of that. But I've given you examples where Brian Branch got picks where lesser players otherwise would not have. So I'm just saying, Brian Branch, if you're looking to pad your numbers and pad your metrics and pad your eye test for Defensive Player of the Year, this is a good game to do it.
This is the game to do it. That dude, Justin, I know you over there ready to talk about these dogs on the Detroit Lions, including Brian Branch. Man, what up, though?
Well, I just would like to point out, do you remember when people wanted to take Brian Branch preseason and turn him into CJ Gardner-Johnson and have him play in the box?
Yeah.
Do you realize how much better Brian Branch is than CJ DJ? Like this, he can literally do it all. Where CJ DJ struggled in coverage, Brian Branch triples that effort. He makes plays on the ball. He has just as many big hits. He controls the defense. He's just as big of a leader, just as big of an energy guy. Brian Branch is elite and deserves his flowers as one of the best defensive players in the league and one of the best safeties in the league. I don't care if it's early in his career. He has proven that last year that he is a true playmaker, and he continues to prove it this year as he just makes plays. Every time that the Lions make a big play on defense, there is Brian Branch in the vicinity. Whether it's a Kirby Joseph pick, whether it's a sack, you see the effect on a play-to-play basis for Brian Branch.
That is a fact. Sometimes, with safeties, they specialize in one thing. I mean, sometimes safeties, they're better in coverage. You can see Kirby Joseph on this team. He's more of a ball hawk. He's somebody that plays the ball and is very opportunistic. Sometimes your safeties are just better at tackling and maybe even blitzing. See Ife Melifonwu. He's more in that category. You can, send him up the A or B gap. He'll get to the quarterback. Or he's just good at bringing people down. Brian Branch has all of that in spades, man. And it's amazing to see that you can have him on one side of the field, maybe 10 yards deep, and he can make a play on the other side of the field at will, man. Look at the pick he had last week. He high-pointed the football. Like, Brian Branch is amazing, man. He has every tool in his tool belt, and he's one of those versatile safeties that you can see being a long-time Lion, being a long time, in the conversation of all-pro defensive safeties in this league. And we're seeing him blossom into a star before our eyes.
One special trait that I love about him, man, it's like these quarterbacks, right? They're always, you hear them talk about the best quarterbacks have the ability to kind of look off safeties, manipulate a defense with their eyes, with a pump fake. You know what I mean? It's almost like a Jedi mind trick. And it's like, what does a Jedi do, though, when you come up against another Jedi? That's what Brian Branch is, because some of these interceptions that he has, you're exactly right. He's setting the quarterback up. He's looking them off with his eyes. You go back and look at the Dallas pick. You go back, you look at the other one last week, and he's making 2 steps in and looking at the quarterback, but he's not full breaking. The quarterback has to make a decision. Am I sitting here and I'm going to let Brian Branch absolutely, man, I have to pick my terminology, absolutely unload in the backfield, or is he baiting me? And that's a decision you have to make, because he has the speed in pads, like Brad Holmes said, to get back and lay out and make the interceptions. Both of those grabs were beautiful. If wide receivers made those types of grabs, we would be replaying those on ESPN Top 10 the entire week. But Brian Branch makes this stuff look so easy, and he does it by all the different things that we talked about. And just one thing I'm loving is just the Lions' trust in allowing him to kind of just do that type of stuff, to roam, to set up a quarterback, and then get back and also make the play all over the field, man. Justin, man, came in with the fire on that too. Just let Brian Branch be a dog all over the field.
Yes, sir.
I love it, man. I love it. Any other players? Like Sam Laporta is one I'm really hoping on the offensive side just steps up, man.
Yeah, so, you know, when I was talking about offensive players, because there is going to be a void that's going to need to be filled with Jameson Williams being out, which means that some players are going to get more targets. Sam Laporta, to me, I don't want to just say it's because he's due. So I wanted to look a little bit deeper as to why he could have a big game. And it all starts with the...
Hold on.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's pay some bills.
Let's pay some bills.
I like that because you have some stuff.
Yes.
I already see Justin. It's like, yo, I'm ready to go. Sam Laporta, chat family, let me know how you feeling about Sam Laporta in this game against the Titans. We keep talking about this. Needs to be one of those springboard games. Everybody go in there with the focus and the mindset to eat and to do work against the Titans. And what I need you guys to do is to walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a $20 haircut special, a scalp massage, a hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Take advantage of our $20 haircut special by scanning the QR code somewhere on the screen. Yeah, over there. Whenever you guys find it and scan it, you'll get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men is open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. It is wicked awesome.
That you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Yo, Justin here for Caesars Sportsbook. Make sure you scan that QR code so you can get a bonus bet up to $1,000, win or loss. Hey, and if you would have used it with Woodward Bets last night, you would have won no matter what you took because we went 6-0. So make sure you tap in on that. Use code Woodward1000. Make sure you get that no sweat first bet. Minimum bet is just $20. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports, and use code Woodward1000. And then scan the QR code on the screen.
Hey, and listen, if you're listening to our social team, hey, you would have made some money, and you could have used that money to go and get you some Sabbath coffee roasters.
Elite.
Hey, but since you didn't, I still got an offer for you to be able to save some money. Fuel your Lions fandom and your Detroit sports fandom with the perfect cup and come a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're gearing up for a big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast. Use code Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. Awake, unwind, support local, enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. And we are back. And you know what? Shout out to Randall Smalls. I see you guys in the chat. I'm seeing the names that are coming in as it relates to what people believe. Those players they think are going to ball out. Randall Smalls says tight ends are better used sparingly. When defenses forgets about them, bam, Laporta. He put that in all caps, so had to do with some justice. Chat family, let's continue to run those likes up. And Sam, you were teasing why you believe Sam Laporta will have a big game, and not just because he's due.
Yeah.
Sometimes that matters.
Yeah.
But you actually have a little bit different breakdown.
Well, all right. So I talked about earlier how the Tennessee Titans have, by the numbers, a good defense when it comes to yards allowed per game. And honestly, a defense, too, that's been let down by, the offense's turnover problem and even the special teams. However, when it comes to their pass defense, there's a lot of context that's involved because in week 1, they faced rookie Caleb Williams in his first ever game, and at the time, Caleb Williams clearly wasn't ready. He's gotten better since then, but in week 1, Caleb Williams looked awful. And then they got to play the Malik Willis-led Green Bay Packers, and Malik Willis was solid, but still, he's no Jordan Love. And then they also got to play a Tua Tagovailoa-less Miami Dolphins team that was starting Tyler Huntley. So not always the toughest of competitions, and this Lions offense is a completely different animal. And one of the reasons I wanted to highlight that is because nobody in their secondary really impresses me that much. I mean, L'Jarius Sneed is a name, but he hasn't really played well this year. He still has some Spagnuolo merchant allegations that he has to answer for, and he'll answer this Sunday. But if I'm Ben Johnson and I've got a weapon like Sam Laporta, who hasn't quite put up the numbers that he did last year, but he's been good, he just hasn't gotten the targets, and he seemed a little banged up, I am trying to hunt Kenneth Murray, their linebacker, for matchups and try to get Sam Laporta in space, because I'll tell you what, Kenneth Murray can't cover Flannel Sam. He certainly can't cover.
That's crazy.
He
That's
certainly
wild.
can't cover Sam Laporta. And honestly,
What would I do to him?
you would do more than me.
Hey.
He can't cover anybody.
Hey, I don't know about your chances, Sam. I'm just saying he's an NFL player.
That's all right. Obviously, I'm saying that for effect, but Kenneth Murray, he's allowed 21 receptions when targeted this year. So and Ben Johnson is a brilliant offensive mind, and sometimes to get your best players to succeed, you just have to exploit certain matchups. But it's not just Kenneth Murray. When it comes to their nickelback or Roger McCreary, he's all right. Nothing too special, nothing really to fear. And their safeties, Quandre Diggs. Quandre Diggs is fine. Amani Hooker is, I would say, mid plus. But the point is that when it comes to their safeties, when it comes to their nickelbacks, when it comes to like a linebacker like Kenneth Murray, I don't think anybody can cover Sam Laporta, and Jameson Williams he's going to be a void. And Sam Laporta, I think we all believe, is one of the best tight ends in the NFL, even if his numbers don't necessarily reflect it this year. Look for a breakout game from Sam Laporta.
Yeah, and Justin, I know you were chomping at the bit. Sam, I really like what you're talking about there, man. From just a game plan and a strategy standpoint, this is one where Ben Johnson can really, really get tricky with a Sam Laporta in this game. Yeah. And Justin, I don't know if you were on. It looked like you were for Sam Laporta having a big game this week, but I don't want to speak for you.
I'm actually not on a big Sam Laporta game. I think that he's going to have a nice game, maybe a touchdown, maybe a couple catches, but who I really expect to step up is Tim Patrick. I love what I've seen so far, his integration in the offense. He seems to have this connection with Goff. Very similar to how Reynolds did, to be honest, where Goff just likes looking for him. He feels confident going there in almost every situation. And I really like that matchup against the Tennessee second corner. I think that he's just gonna have, like, when you lose the option of JMO, and now there's going to be more coverage on Amon-Ra, more coverage on Laporta. It just seems like Tim Patrick is the option to get the ball more.
Listen, I know you were talking, so you didn't necessarily have the opportunity to look at the chat. As soon as you said his name, Mittenmate, literally at the same time, his chat went up. So you're saying Tim Patrick breakout. And you know what? It's not just, like you said, a feeling. It's seeing that he already has some good chemistry with Jared Goff, especially on those sideline catches, and he's already produced in some big opportunities given to him. In the opportunities given to him. Now he has a little bit bigger one with JMO being out for a couple games, and I think that's a really, really underrated pick there, Justin.
It wouldn't shock me too if in certain formations if they have L'Jarius Sneed on Tim Patrick. And as I said before, L'Jarius Sneed, was really, really good for Kansas City. He's really struggled so far this year. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just saying that at the beginning of the season, who would have thought that Tim Patrick would have any sort of advantage in a one-on-one matchup with L'Jarius Sneed? And right now, I'm seeing
Tim Patrick love all in the chat right now.
Well, And honestly, I know that this may come off as simplistic, but when you watch Tim Patrick, he looks beautiful in pads. His body is just something to behold when it comes to that wide receiver physique.
We haven't seen it since the big man, Megatron.
Yes, I was about to say, because Josh Reynolds was 6'3" and all that, but he's not the specimen that Tim Patrick is, and you've seen him make some plays, and you've seen him be an absolute force blocking as well, so it wouldn't shock me. And as I've always said, before his body betrayed him in with the Broncos, he was a 700-yard receiver for 2 consecutive years with below-average quarterback play. The guy's got talent. It's just now he's showing that he's back healthy. He's got confidence in his body and his recovery, and he's in an offense where he can absolutely thrive, unlike what he could do in Denver. He personally thrived, but it was despite the quarterback play. He's just fitting into this beautiful offense and being the cog that we need him to be.
Phil asked Sam, are you bricked up for Tim Patrick? That beautiful man.
I don't know if well, actually, by how I described him, that did sound like somebody I would get bricked up to. I'm not necessarily bricked up.
Whoa.
But I like what I've seen. I like what I've seen once he's been on the field and kind of emerged as a reliable target.
Hey, who's balling out? I know we talking Tim Patrick, but in addition, Sam Laporta, Tim Patrick, man, those guys. Anybody else?
No, and I just want to stick on the Tim Patrick thing.
Yeah.
I'm really big on Tim Patrick. Pause. I think he's been absolutely great this year, and I will continue to say it. He has the potential to be better than what Josh Reynolds was, and also prayers up to Josh Reynolds, who was involved in that shooting. Yeah. You hope that he's okay. Haven't heard anything negative about that, but
nothing bad happens after midnight.
Yeah, I know, but as far as Sam Laporta, he will have his opportunities, but I don't necessarily expect him to go off in this game. He will get some catches, but overall, the way this Lions offense spreads the ball, it's been Laporta's kind of been a victim of that. J-Mo's been seeing the ball a lot more. You still got to feed Amon-Ra. You still got to feed your other targets. But I think Laporta overall, he's so great in run blocking. They'll continue to use him in that way. And then just utilize him in play action, and he'll be fine. So I don't expect him to have the same year that he had last year. But as long as he gets his catches here and there, which will be for big plays, don't mistake that at all. He's still a very much a big part of this Lions offense. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I believe that too, especially when the defenses will key in on important downs on players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo out the backfield, Sam Laporta. Tim Patrick is a guy that has to be that reliable player, just like we saw Josh Reynolds be a lot last year, and it's why it sticks out so much with that championship game against the NFC championship game against the San Francisco 49ers. What up, though, brother?
And a lot of people in chat are talking about, well, what about Raymond? What about Raymond? Raymond will always be there. He's a specialist, though. He's there to pick up the piece. That's not what Tim Patrick's job is. Tim Patrick's job is to actually go out there, make big plays, and be that reliable big target that Jared Goff needs.
Like the catch, right? And it was awesome hearing Dan Miller's call of that big catch up the sideline where he was interfered with. They didn't call the play, but he still made the catch. That's what we're talking about. When all else kind of fails, do you check it down, or do you go to your big body receiver who can make a great play on the ball, who has already proven he can make some plays on the sideline? He's made some big third down catch. It's you know what? Hey, I'm glad that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and co had the foresight to say, you know what? That's a player we think can help, and it's panning out. We've seen it kind of go both ways with some of these kind of players they've picked up, but Tim Patrick is one that makes me question the wide receiver room a whole lot less right now.
And that's the thing, because one of the reasons you wanted a Tim Patrick to emerge, you wanted a Khalif Raymond to get more involved in the offense the last couple of weeks, is in the event of an absence of one of your big dogs. And Jameson Williams certainly has been that this season, to where you can confidently say that regardless of that, you still have an embarrassment of riches. You still got the best running back duo in the NFL. You still have Amon-Ra, who was an all-pro last year. You got Sam Laporta, who was all-pro last year. And now Tim Patrick, he looks like the receiver that he was in Denver. And with Khalif Raymond, what did I say about him before the season? I said he was basically a walking 550 yards with a couple of huge plays to where you're like, damn, we wouldn't have won that game without Khalif Raymond's just, you look at the punt return touchdown against the Jets. You look at the best throw I've still ever seen Jared Goff make in the Lambeau game in a 2022. You even look at, unfortunately, the Seahawks game that they lost last year. He had the 37-yard touchdown. It's just, he's always reliable to be that guy who's both a safety blanket but a big play threat as well in smaller doses. But when do those guys need to step up more? When one of your big dogs goes down or gets suspended.
Hey, listen, Jessica Dean for Tim Patrick, she put us semi-bricked. Shout out to Jessica.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I mean, I think the way that I painted a picture.
Yeah. and that's what I'm saying.
It was certainly sus. It's a football. It's an NFL man crush, is what it is. We all have them. Did we not think that Calvin Johnson, we would like look at him on a football field and just like make that Sean Baligian and Neil Rule face?
I don't know about that, but I love the man.
Am I the only one? Oh, well, should have admitted that on air, but
shout out Tennessee Lion in the chat. I think that's Tennessee Lion. It's TENN Lions. He says Tim Patrick's game is very DC. That's Dan Campbell friendly. He does the dirty work. I saw, there it is, Phil. Tim Patrick blocks great. Also, Phil. Sam, ... Facts.
Oh, hey! Changing hearts and minds of former hater Phil. That's
and all
cool.
it took was a kumbaya with Tim Patrick, bro.
That's the thing, man. I'm positive a lot of the time. How could I not be?
Tim Patrick, man, he is saving lives on the field and off the field.
God, what a pickup he's been. And that's what Brad Holmes does. Tim Patrick had gone from being somebody who was coveted to on the scrap heap because of injuries.
Yeah.
And that's where Brad Holmes is like, let me swoop in.
Man, you know what? I want to talk about some more players that we think can step up the conversation. It's awesome. I know we got to get to the fantasy football segment as well. So, what a day, man. What a day. This one, it feels like a show that should be as stress-free as this Lions game.
Yes.
So, but what else should be stress-free? Your insurance coverage. Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure that your current carrier is not slipping in anything extra at all. All you gotta do, call our guy Mark at Swiss today. That number is 313-530-1698, or visit them online, SwissINS.com, and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
You and I pay our bills. Unlike my opponent, Dave Coulter, I won't take advantage of my job because I work for you. I'm Nick Jonai, and by the way, I do pay my water bills on time, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Nick Jonai for Oakland County.
Make sure you go to shopwoodwardsports.com to get your best wearables in the Detroit merch game. That's right, you see him. We're still selling that Boot 'em Kid shirt. Make sure you stock up for Tiger season. Get your Woodward Sports Tigers merch. We stoked, not scared out here. Not worried about the Aidan Hutchinson industry. So make sure you get the coolest merch in Detroit at shop.woodwardsports.com.
Oh, I'm still worried about the injury, just not this week. But you know who's not worried about anything? Mark White. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
What up, though, people, and welcome back to this Wake Up Woodward, man. Chat family, y'all got me chuckling over here, man. I'm going to read some of these comments. You got some support, Sam.
Hey.
Stephen Baffy, my football man crush is Taylor Decker. He plays left tackle like I did, and he also is a nerd that plays World of Warcraft like I did, too. Shout out to WoW fans. He says, Taylor is also a girl dad like me. He is my lion. Mike Hilton, proud of you, Sam.
I wonder what that's referring to. I do still have a wife, so it was. I'm just comfortable enough to talk openly about football man crushes. I thought it was widespread, but I guess I'm dead wrong on that.
Listen, man. Hey, shout out to Phil. I have never hated Sam. Teasing is part of the chat room.
Appreciate it, brother.
And Max Mayer, I see you out there. Let me see. I'm gonna read Jonathan Lord's first, then Max's. He says, LOL, WUW can be stress-free, but BDE nickel packages aren't. Make sure you guys are tapped into Big D Energy today as well. Max Mayer, the Honolulu flu is real. You lose a game to the Detroit Lions this year, you're going to lose a couple more games. It is very real. Each one of these teams, I believe, they've lost their very next game after losing to the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, shout out to the Vikings last night, which is huge also for NFC North implications. I at this point, given that the Lions already have the tiebreaker, already got the road game, I wasn't too worried about the Vikings anymore. But you know what? Have them pile up some losses.
Have them pile it up. And you know what? Let's get right into it right now. We got to talk about the final score predictions, and we're going to continue to talk about who we think is going to ball out. Give me your player of the game as well. Let's go.
To the shock of nobody who's listened to the show up to this point, my player of the game is Sam Laporta. I think he reminds the whole NFL world who the best up-and-coming tight end is in the NFL and who still could stake his claim as the best tight end in the NFL when the season is over. I look for a huge game from him. I expect something like 6 catches for at least for between 80 to 100 yards and a touchdown. And I expect the Lions to win 34-17.
I'm picking this number again for my final score. It is 31, but they're only letting up 13. I see a touchdown and a couple field goals at most, and I believe that the touchdown is going to be just kind of some garbage touchdown anyway. 31-13 for the Detroit Lions. Get a little bit of that 3-1-3 flavor in there as well. And my player of the game, I believe that there's going to be a lot of people that absolutely ball out. But I think that Jared Goff, again, is going to prove to be one of those guys that's just cool, calm, collected, and darn near perfect.
Yes, and I know Stick has been doing Stick things in the chat. And you know, every time Jared Goff is mentioned, did you hear that? Stick just nutted again. But to be fair.
Doing tricks on it. Splat.
But to be fair, he has mentioned something which I think is actually relevant. With Jared Goff, especially when he's going up against a team like the Titans at home, there's no doubt in our minds that Jared Goff is going to have a big game. Does anybody think otherwise? There's really no reason to think otherwise. It's like a given at this point.
Yeah, and that's my thing. It's like not even just a big game, but one of those special games where at the end of it, we're just like, did he just go perfect? Did he just put up another perfect half? Did he just throw 3 touchdowns and no interceptions? Like I expect it to be one of those games. And take another step forward as it relates to really commanding the game. One thing that you said that I can't, no matter what I believe where Jared Goff should be ranked in the MVP, we have to be fair about that Buccaneers game. And that's where I believe I've seen Jared Goff in season learn quickly from those mistakes. And we know they were trying to catch their rhythm. And Dan Campbell said that early. But since then, I've seen Jared Goff be somebody in command. When the ball's in his hands, especially in tight moments, that team it's just different. It's just cool. It's calm. We see this team coming through. They're getting the big first downs. They're converting on the third downs. Sometimes when they don't with the force, think about it. They went down 10-0 to the undefeated media darling Minnesota Vikings, and they were not rattled. And
they
that
weren't.
starts with your leaders, man.
Yep. And that's where Jared Goff has taken another step to where, despite his stellar play in 2023 and 2022, he is playing the best football of his career right now, of his entire NFL career. Justin, how do you see it playing out on Sunday? Give me a final score.
I see it playing out in pretty much blowout fashion. I know this is the NFL. This isn't a league where there's a ton of blowouts, but it's hard not to see it that way. I'm gonna go 24-10. I think that it might be a little sleepy Lions game coming in between the two divisional games, but I still think we take care of business and win big.
Hey, let's go. Who's your MVP? Who's that player of the game for you?
My MVP is Terry Arnold with an interception.
Let's go. Ooh. Let's go. I see Detroit Dyson. He says $2 super chat. He says the Lions curse is in reverse now. You lose to the Lions, it's gonna spell more doom for you. And Chase, what up, though, man? Detroit Lions, Tennessee Titans. I already know who you got to win, but tell me the score and tell me who's your player of the game.
I'm going to say score will be 28-13 Lions, and then I'll give the game ball to Jared Goff.
Let's rock.
Yeah, I think he's going to keep playing well. He's playing at a very high level, proving he's MVP of the league, and he's just the man right now.
Yeah, and it's safe to say that for the two players that we believe may find themselves in some award races towards the end of the year, it's safe to say that we believe those guys will take another step forward in those respective races. I believe Brian Branch is going to have a hell of a game. Like, I don't want to be in this part where we're talking about the MVP and not bring him up, because he's going to definitely make a claim to that as well.
He's got himself a case for a Defensive Player of the Year. But speaking of competition and all that, the Wake Up Woodward crew had a fantasy matchups this weekend, and it's a segment that I would like to not do, but win or lose, you got to stand in there and
I don't want to do this one either.
And take the
struggling.
agony of defeat. But first, what can make me feel better? Stress eating my feelings at Soroki's. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza has a new limited time offer just in time for this football season. Soroki's is debuting their fresh, signature flavored wings. Grab your friends, order a New York style pizza, and add fresh wings for the games this weekend. Try one of their 7 different flavors or visit their website at sorokis.com.
Hey, you know what? Let me tell you about the watch party. Let me tell you about the post-game show as well. New Holland Brewing Company sponsors it all for Woodward Sports. You see it right there, man. The heavyweights, they kick things off with instant reactions to all of the big plays, good, bad, and indifferent, with a whole mess of Lions fans. And we want you guys out there as well. Where? Hayes Social, live in Shelby Township. And we do this at every single Lions game. Why? Because we want to be able to take into action with all of the chat family as well. If you can't, make sure you stay tapped in with Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. And then following the game right after, you got Stick and Answer hosting the post-game show, giving you instant analysis to everything that just gone on. But we make sure we include you in the show as well. Whether you call in or whether you show up, your comments will be heard live on the show. All of this is brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, 1800 Tequila, Sabbath Coffee, Soroki's, and the food at Hayes Socials is bomb. We want to see you guys out there.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You can join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Romani and Edwards, where he's giving you top-notch injury advice. You guys got to trust the guy that D-Mac, 4-time Stanley Cup champion winning Darren McCarty trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And we are back. Hey, talked a lot of football today, Detroit Lions versus Titans, and it's amazing how much conversation we can get out of a game that not just us, but the chat family believes is going to be an absolute blowout. And there's another game that we got to kind of mention. Michigan versus Michigan State. I see you got something there in front of you, too. In front of you. And I know Justin said we don't want to hear what he has to say. Go Blues still. I believe that they're going to win this game. I know JB Smooth got all his, he got his stuff off this week.
Oh, yeah.
But how you feeling, man?
You know what, Justin? Call me intrigued because you mentioned, you teased what you were going to say. So get whatever shit off you need to get off.
I'm intrigued, Justin.
Oh, boy. I didn't expect this to start off with me, but
go ahead.
I can't lie. This is a tough spot for Michigan, and these are two anemic offenses out here. This football game isn't even going to be watchable, to be honest. I will spend my time watching a better game, personally. I don't even think I'm going to watch it. But what I will say about the game...
Don't let Neil hear that.
Hey, I don't even care. Honestly, I have money to make in other games. I do not care. I'm about cutting the check, and he'll respect that. Anyway, Michigan State will keep it close. If you're betting on the game, take the points for Michigan State because no matter if Michigan does win, they won't be able to put up enough points to cover the spread. If Michigan wins, it will be by 3. I want to say that Michigan's going to win because the defense is better, but at the same time, I could also see Marsh just going off and us losing on some bullshit. So the only take I have in the game is to take Michigan State and the points.
Man, I hate that I could see that happening as well, but goodness gracious, I want to have so much more faith in Michigan, but when you're talking about a team where you really don't know if their quarterback will get over 100 yards, let alone 75 yards, it's insane to think about that they're in this type of position. And now you got a night game against your rival, in-state rival, Michigan State, who I believe they have a good program. I'm going to keep using this word, a good program builder, an established one. I do believe we're going to see what Sharon Moore is, obviously, in time. But now you have an established one there who, how does this imply in the recruiting in-state? I know Michigan is starting to now turn their focus towards in-state recruiting. I believe that there's a lot more on this game than just potential bowl bids as you continue on in the season, but also where these programs go from here as well to some degree.
That's fair. And I think it's time that we bring the energy and optimism up in the room. Because you know what?
Talk to me.
Fuck Michigan State.
Talk to me.
Fuck them. Fuck their campus. Fuck their football game. Fuck their fans. You know what? It's hate week for us too. I know that Michigan, they're the team that's fallen short of expectations, and Michigan State is on the come up. But if you're Michigan, you got Mason effing Graham. You've got Kenneth Grant. You've got Colston Loveland. You may or may not have Will Johnson. Hopefully he's out there. If you're Mason Graham, be seething at the thought of Aidan Childs. Go take his fucking head off. If you're Josiah Stewart, come from the edge. Meet with Mason Graham at Aidan Childs' head and knock it the fuck off. I don't want to see any yards from Nate Carter. I don't want to see any big gains from K'Ron Lynch-Adams. And if Will Johnson is out there, I don't want to see a single reception from that overrated Nick Marsh. He's good, but he ain't Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams good. It's about time somebody just said something. And you know what? I get it. Michigan may not have good quarterback play. I understand that. It makes me less optimistic too, but this is a game where I just need to see competence and no turnovers. I need whatever quarterback is out there to find Colston Loveland and hit him, and to, for the love of God, not throw the ball to the other team.
You need them to be a different team than they've been all season.
Chase?
right.
Yeah. Flannel. Let me ask you something, okay? I hate to be this guy, but what are you expecting at quarterback? Like, are you not expecting 3 interceptions and and not being able to throw the ball down the field?
That's what douses my optimism.
Justin, I understand. I know that there's no evidence for me to believe that the quarterback play is going to be good. I acknowledge that. It's just every single time we talked about Michigan this week, whether it be on air or off air, it sounded like a fucking funeral. And listen to how Spenny talks about it. Like, he's excited. He has hate. We need to develop that hate. This is a big game. This is at home. And you know my favorite website of all time, PFF. Look at the PFF big board for the 2025 draft. Michigan has 8 players on the top 20. 8, 9 if
and are 4-3. And are 4-3. This is not a big game. We are already out of the playoffs. We are out of the playoffs coming off a national title. We did nothing at quarterback. This is a complete botch job by this coaching staff. The fact that you went through your spring game and all of summer without knowing that the quarterback room is awful and that you need to make a move is ridiculous, especially in an age where there's quarterbacks aplenty in the transfer portal.
Detroit,
we didn't bring in one guy. There is no...
Hold on. Let me respond. Justin, you're right.
About everything.
But we gotta win this game, man.
We here now.
We've gotta win this game.
That ain't got shit to do
We've
with this.
gotta have pride. It's Michigan effing State.
Yeah.
Do you know how insufferable those bastards at East Lansing will be all fucking year if we lose to those clowns? We are better. We have better personnel. Yes, the coaching is lesser than. I already can see that. Yes, the quarterback play is going to be lesser than. But sometimes your big-time players have to step up. And somebody, whether it be Makari Page, whether it be Jair Hill, whether it be Jayshawn Barham, who's actually been playing better lately, somebody has to step up. Hell, it could even be somebody like Samaj Morgan. I understand you haven't been targeted a lot. You've been getting open at times and nobody's even looked for you. But this is Michigan effing State. I'm just tired of the funeral atmosphere. And I don't blame you guys. I don't blame you, Justin. You're right. I don't blame you, KG. I don't blame you, Kool-Aid. I've been part of the funeral atmosphere at times this week. But it is hate week. It is the day before.
Are you part of the Hardy Boys?
Hey.
Are you friends with Joe Hendry? Because I believe.
Thank you.
Let's go.
No,
That's fired up.
I'm on the same wave as of really today, and really part of yesterday after taking the beating I had to take from Neil Rule. Oh, I was told this, I was told that. Clearly, you were told all that shit, and it ain't lived up. And let's just be real about it, Justin. You no lies detected on anything that you said, but that has nothing to do with this particular matchup this week. You are the better team. You are at home, and I'm sorry. Aidan Childs is not a world beater, and the key to this game is to get pressure on him. That MSU offensive line is not great. They're okay. They are not great. If you put pressure on Aidan Childs, he will turn into a turnover factory that we know him to be. And all you need is somebody on the front four to step up, whether it's Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, or even Josiah Stewart off the edge. If somebody gets pressure on Aidan Childs, they have a very good chance to win this game. I'm sick of the funeral shit too, because the season is a wash. We all know that at this point. But as far as this particular game right here, this is not one that they are supposed to lose. I'm sorry.
Is the D line even alive? Wait
a minute.
Like honestly, I've seen no life from them. I was
you can't say that, Justin. You can't say
that's
that.
That's the least of their problems, dude. Mason Graham's been playing well.
One bright spot on this fucking team.
Honestly,
to be real.
I have no qualms.
But with multiple first-round picks on it, I expect them to be elite, and they haven't been elite.
You got to look at Wink Martindale, though. That's not on them. That's on Wink.
They're a unit. They're a unit.
I hear you.
They're a unit.
They're gonna wear the results together, and that's where it's like, listen, I want to be as Kool-Aid get out, man. I had 3 of the 4 kids literally on the campus. Me and all my siblings, like on there, my family. I want to be as slaptastic as possible with Michigan. I am not, as it relates to getting fired up for pep rally week, definitely go in there and we're gonna be yelling at the top of our lungs. But as it relates to what we've seen on the field, that's just where I can see this team not measuring up and doing more to hurt themselves than even Michigan State is doing to them.
Well, and that's the thing, because yes, I've mentioned it before. I got a little bit wild there, but I am mindful of the ways that MSU can hurt Michigan. Certainly, Aidan Childs is one of them, but I'm also mindful of the fact that I still have confidence in this D-line. Justin, I think you're being a little... I think the problem doesn't lie so much with the D-line and the NFL players. I think it lies with the guys like the Jair Hills and the Makari Pages of the world, just to name a few. Guys who clearly... Makari Page, who regressed, and Jair Hill, who's not quite ready for the role.
And that's fair.
Your D coordinator hasn't done anything to to cover up those deficiencies.
That's fair.
So it is what it is, man.
It's just, I'm not going to live in a world where I'm predicting losses against this Michigan State team. Yeah, this Michigan State team is on the come up. I like what Jonathan Smith is building more. I like his competence as head coach more than Sharon Moore's, for example. Ooh. But this Michigan team is just more talented, and sometimes you just gotta find a way. It's not Lamar Childs or Aiden Jackson. It's a very, very talented turnover-prone quarterback who can either boom or bust. You gotta force a turnover or two. You gotta get to him if you're Mason Graham, and this has to be a day. And Justin, this has to be a day where, despite we disagree a bit on how the D-line has played, but you got to have your best game, and I have confidence that they will. They got to get up for this game because it's Michigan freaking State.
Right. Even offensively, if you have Jack Tuttle who can complete a pass downfield, what a concept, right?
He can get you over 100 yards.
I don't know about that.
Complete a pass downfield for the most part. And Justin, like I said, you are not wrong about anything. Clearly, Tuttle isn't the long-term answer, but he's been better than anything we've seen at quarterback so far. But even if you do that and mix in the run game, which you can still run the ball very well. The offensive line has been a somewhat bright spot of this team this year as well. You have Khalil Mullings, even Donovan Edwards. I know he hasn't been great, but he's good as a secondary back in this offense. They can make something happen. And even if you have to mix in Tuttle with Alex Orji at the goal line, maybe some RPO, some Service Academy football, anything to get this offense going, they can do that as well.
They have to do that. And that's something we've been talking about all season. It's not just, because I see it. Detroit Dyson, $5 super chat. Thank you for the support. Are you guys shocked at the Wolverines not having a solid start at QB? And then Jerry Alexander, Orji gives Michigan their best chance to win. We all thought that because of the skills that he does possess, and we just haven't really seen them put Orji in any position to succeed based on the talent and the skill set that we have. That, to me, has been one of the more disappointing things. Not only do you not have a quarterback that can run your system, but you're not putting this quarterback that has some skills and some talent in a position to be better utilized.
That's true, but he's one-dimensional. Yeah. And that's the only thing. If you can't complete a 10-yard pass, then that's a problem. You at least have to be somewhat of a threat to throw the football. He's great with his legs, and that's wonderful. But eventually teams can key in on that, and that has been a big problem with what Kirk Campbell and this Michigan offense, they haven't been able to figure out an RPO scheme, an option scheme for Alex Orji to really succeed in this offense. And then you add to that the receivers can't get open. You don't have a dominant receiver. I mean, Samaj Morgan is cool. He can't be your number one receiver, period. So, I mean, it just is what it is, but they have to play to their strengths the best way that they can do that.
Yeah, and you know what? Shout out to Scuba. Just want to make sure we continue to shout out the chat family. These interstate school rivalries are cool AF, and he put the strong emoji. And you know what? To your point, more than I believe any other league in the world, NCAAF and NCAAB, those rivalry games, something different brews. When we talk about superstition, I don't know how much people do or don't believe in it, but when we're talking about these types of games, we have seen Michigan get up for these games and do things they weren't supposed to do. During years where we're like, damn, we even got a quarterback going into the game. And when you look at the final stats of some of these wins that they came away with, and even on the other side, Michigan State, years where they weren't supposed to be able to compete and being able to shock Michigan. That is one component that I do believe it should not be underrated in this thing. Michigan has to get up. You got the horses. You have more horses than they do. They might be able to do certain things better at the quarterback position, but where I believe the Wolverines' horses lie on that defensive side of the ball, you get an opportunity to be able to nullify that and give yourself a chance to play that opportunistic defense where they're forcing a few turnovers here and there and really making it a rough night for the Spartans. And I know you got some on it too, Mr.
I also had a question for you guys, just as Michigan fans. Because you guys have been pretty down about the game all week, and I feel like over the course of the season, the expectations for the team have changed. The field goal posts have been moved a little bit. First it was, 10-2, 11-1, playoffs. Now it's like, can we even make a bowl game? And Michigan State, who you guys barely acknowledged, going into the season as like they're not a real team that we consider as like a rival.
Well,
nobody said that on this show. We said that we got to see where the program goes.
It's been said around
not by anybody on this show.
Chase, we just had to see it. Like, yes, we acknowledge the fact that Jonathan Smith was a way better coach than Mel Tucker and that they had a QB prospect with a lot of promise, but we needed to see what it was going to look like first. So I wouldn't say just completely downplay.
Yeah, when he was hired, we all said we believe that this is a guy who's going to take Michigan State into a better position as a program overall when he was hired.
Right. I mean, you can think that still, but also like think that they're not a true threat to Michigan, which I feel like a lot of that people had that attitude. Now, I mean, up until 10 minutes ago, you guys, up until 10 minutes ago, there was a lot of hanging heads. You know, you guys started waving the towels, getting up for the game. How do you guys get up for a team like Ohio State, who's like your real rival?
We can't.
No. No. That's why I separated earlier. To get up for the pep rally of it, that's something I'm going to do for anything that's mine, anything that I support, anything that got maize and blue, anything that says Detroit. Period. I do not care if they suck. It's a part of what we were talking about yesterday. Why I have such a hard time even rooting for other great players. I can say that they're great. But when we break this thing down, which is what we like to be able to do beyond being slappies and beyond just drinking Kool-Aid, and we look at the game for what it is, Michigan has not met expectation, period. And that, to me, it doesn't hang my head down because I don't think they're going to beat Michigan State. Not one time this week did I say, I don't believe Michigan's going to beat them. It's just sad where they are right now. I never thought that even winning a national championship could be doused a little bit based off of what we see right now because it's about the future of the entire program for me. That's why I keep saying program. Yes, go out there and beat Michigan State because it's good for your program, but what is it really going to do as it relates to where we believe this team was headed with Sharon Moore? The already waiting in the wings. We didn't go out and get somebody else and take a chance. We got Sharon Moore from in-house, and we believed with the studs that we still had here, with who he had shown himself to be, and we believed he's making the right necessary steps in the offseason to move this team forward, and then you don't got a quarterback figured out. I believe that every Michigan fan, if you're being real, should hang your head to some degree about that. But as it relates to getting up for the Michigan State game, I expect them to go in there and win that game, just to be real with you.
Yeah, the season is already a disappointment.
It's
already a disappointment. The expectations coming into the season were drastically different for State and Michigan. So I understand in terms of the totality of the season why Michigan State is more excited and they feel like they're building more of something. But that doesn't change the fact that you got to get up for this game. This is the type of game where, regardless of record, you just got to go win. And I believe I believe that all of the evidence is on my side that Michigan is the leaps and bounds more talented team. It's just at certain aspects like quarterback, coaching, which are really important. That's where they have some deficiencies, and it's reared its ugly head, unfortunately.
And with this Michigan State game, I think I'm being called a Fairweather fan in chat, and I just would like to say I did say that I think Michigan is going to win. They do have too much talent. They should find a way to win this game, but there needs to be some respect on that other side. This team needs to get up for this game, and I can't lie. I'm willing to give Sharon more of the time to get to where he wants to be with this program, but I have to knock his player development and his ability to scout a little bit for the fact that he didn't know that there was no quarterback in this QB room.
Quarterbacks that you've seen for multiple years.
Yeah, I can't like even process that or like understand how a coach would even do that because like looking at what I've seen on the field, you can blatantly tell that none of these quarterbacks other than Orji have the arm strength to make NCAA passes, and then Orji doesn't have the accuracy to make college football level passes. So it's just it's wild to me that we're even in this situation.
That's where the head kind of hangs a little lower, Chase. Like for real, I don't deny that it's a little bit more dour and that the head hangs lower. But as it relates to Michigan State, if you need me to be like there on 10, of course. And this game is after sunset too. I'm in the goodness.
I just think it's
Pistons
fun. Like,
game.
Michigan fans, like they didn't really take Michigan State seriously this year at all, and now it's like I think they're looking at this game because they know they're going to get rolled in Columbus.
Because they have to earn it, though. They have to earn it, and they've up to this point at 4-3, they at least look a little bit better than even Michigan State fans. I didn't hear Michigan State fans in the beginning in droves lapping that. You know what? We're back. I even saw some people after they had a quick hot start and then faltered. I saw some Michigan State fans jumping off the bandwagon on their side of the thing. Well, Michigan fans, I can understand taking a cautious approach to this, and I appreciate Michigan fans taking more of a cautious approach this time around with Michigan State and saying, you know what, we're going to wait and see. Because last time they didn't do that, Dan Antonio came in and washed them. This time around, at least with the Michigan fans that I'm around, I've seen them take a little bit different perspective as it relates to Smith coming in to town in East Lansing and knowing, you know what? We can't make the same mistakes that we did with overlooking and oversight. That's what I really like about your attention to this game. Do not overlook this team. This is one of those games where you look at the history of Michigan and Michigan State, and even Michigan and Ohio State. Can I get up for that game? Yes, because I've seen them get the upsets, and I've also seen them be upset. You got to find a way to get up for those games. You have to.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes, and before we get to the fantasy segment, which is didn't give you a lot of time, KG. My bad about that.
No, that's cool.
Chase, you're doing the Neil Rule thing, where you're just trolling just to troll, because we're giving you answers and you're just disregarding them and being like, oh, but I was told that the Michigan fans think they're going to get rolled, and we didn't take Michigan State seriously. We gave you explanations, and you're just coming back with like those like snarky remarks. I'm not mad at you. It's just, come on, like. Sit this one out. You haven't been here during the entire offseason and during the entire season to actually have these discussions.
Shout out to Broder in the chat as well, Michigan, man. Hey, Broder, tell me how you feeling, man. What is the heat check for you as well as any Michigan State, college football fans in general? Let's just go around really quickly. Everybody believes that Michigan wins this game in the room or no?
Yeah.
Chase? No?
No, they're not winning.
Ooh, put it on wax. Come on.
It'll be a close, ugly game, but Michigan wins.
Take the under.
Yeah.
Take the under and Michigan will win.
There you go.
I'm going to go 20-14 Michigan.
I do have a question for Sam, though, real quick, just while we're on the topic.
Yeah.
Am I an Ohio State yes or no? Now that Michigan's awful?
Think about it.
At the beginning of the season, you did have a nice twinkle in your eye talking about Will Howard. I'm just saying.
Nope. I just spin facts, dog. Sorry about it.
That's fine. And you're the first person to talk about how, oh my God, Michigan just can't win. There's no way. I know you pick them at the end, but that's fine.
No, I picked him in the beginning. I said that Michigan State would cover, but Michigan would win. Okay. The first time I brought it up, so.
And to give you credit, there's a snowball's chance in hell Michigan's going into Columbus and winning, but that's another story for another day.
You did not just claim that there's a chance that Michigan goes into OSU and wins.
I said a snowball's chance in hell, Chase.
I'm going to still be fired
Chase,
up, though.
whoa.
A snowball's chance in hell.
I'm going to still be fired. I'm going to still be fired up, though. Listen, let's get to this next segment. Start to get those mailbag questions in. We also get your update during that segment on the fantasy football. I know a couple of you all had some questions at the beginning of the show. I said definitely run those back up for our mailbag segment. So let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. What bills do we got to pay real quick? Is it just Feldman or do we got something else?
Oh, we got Salvation Army. Have you ever thought about volunteering but don't know where to start? Start with the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Visit registertoring.com to sign up for shifts. You'll have an option to choose a 2-hour session at a physical Red Kettle site or participate in a virtual bell ringing shift to raise funds from the comfort of your own home. Virtual bell ringers can sign up and begin raising funds at any time. Traditional bell ringing begins on Friday, November 7 and runs through Christmas Eve, excluding Thanksgiving and Sundays. To sign up for volunteer shifts, visit registertoring.com.
Good.
Feldman, where I got my vehicle, where Matt Broder got his, Neil Rule got his, and maybe Kool-Aid will be joining the Feldman family, which is Woodward family, Feldman family. They're all one in the same. It is the Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. You get in if you know what you want. I was out in about three and a half hours. Neil Rule was in and out before Big D Energy even ended. So if you need a car, hey, if you just want to say hello to us every other Monday, go visit Feldman Chevrolet, particularly if you want to see us, the Novi location.
Hey.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
You and I pay our bills. Unlike my opponent, Dave Coulter, I won't take advantage of my job because I work for you. I'm Nick Jonai, and by the way, I do pay my water bills on time, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Nick Jonai for Oakland County.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
And we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward. It's been a Friday show. Getting ready for Detroit Lions versus Tennessee Titans. We all expect it to be one of those games where we see the Lions absolutely in control. We talked a little bit about University of Michigan football, Michigan State University, Wolverines versus Spartans. This Saturday at 7:30. Ah, my goodness. This is going to be, I believe, way more hotly contested than maybe some people believed in the beginning of the season, and it's because where these teams sit right now, 4-3, a lot on the line, two programs that now are trying to get back to some type of former prominence. The Michigan team, though, a little bit closer to theirs. Michigan State, they're trying to get back to that Dan Antonio level. And you know what? There's a lot of people in the chat who believe that Michigan State is going to absolutely romp.
We gonna see.
If you're a State fan, I don't blame you
Yeah.
for having confidence. This is the worst Michigan team since 2020 for damn sure. So.
Kick somebody while they down. I ain't mad at it.
I'm not mad at it.
We would do the same to you.
But there is.
I promise you we would do the same to you.
Sports.
There is no way in hell I'm picking against Michigan. Like years where you could pick against Michigan are like 2014, not this year.
Yeah, I'm not picking
this year.
against them.
Hell.
Never.
Well, let's get into the fantasy breakdown. Guys, get your mailbag questions in as well. We'll take a couple of those, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, so this is week 8 just started, but this is the week 7 recap of the fantasy league. And Justin, if you can throw up the matchups, please. I'll run through these as quick as I can.
Yeah, I can't lie. I accidentally screwed the graphic up when I was trying to add your camera to it.
All
So
right, well, no, you all good. I'll just run through the matchups real quick. Week 7, me versus Flannel, man. Probably the best matchup of the weekend. And hey, on my side, fly Eagles, fly. Jalen Hurts 31 points. Saquon Barkley 26. Breece Hall chipped in with 26 points as well. And I got to give some love to Brock Bowers, man. He has been the only bright spot for the Las Vegas Raiders. He is the best tight end in fantasy. He chipped in with 19 points yet again. Bringing your boy to 5-2, man. I'm looking good. Sam, Tony Pollard, only 8.5 points. Patrick Mahomes, another 20-point week. And to be honest, if you had started Justin Herbert, 35 points.
Yep.
That probably makes up a lot of the gap. Of course, you did have both Chris Godwin and Mike Evans go down in this game, so that also might have saved you as well. And the Broncos defense on your bench put up 22 points.
Not like I said, I wish we didn't have to do this segment, but I stand and take the L's as well.
You damn right. You lost to the better team. It is what it is.
Give me my L. Tell you to give my L, bro.
Hey, listen, we're going to get to you. We're going to get to you in a second. But next on the docket, we have Dante 151.
Shout out to Dante.
Absolutely boat raced by Broder. 163 to 103. Ah, man, Dante 151. I got to be real with you. You had some letdowns in this game. In particular, the Texans. CJ Stroud, 10 points. Tank Dell returns, but he has 0 catches on 4 targets. So, I mean, that's pretty tough. 0 points there. J-Mo didn't get any touches. He put up just over a half of a point. And my man, you're supposed to be this great Lions fan, but yet again, you sit Jared Goff, and yet again, he goes off. 35 points for Jared Goff on the bench. And for Broder, I mean, simply Josh Allen dominated, 44 points and 25 points from Derrick Henry. But on to the next matchup on the docket.
You can skip it.
Nah, we can't. It is JB going against Kool-Aid, Mr. Dick Campbell Energy, and Kool-Aid goes down for the second week in a row.
Freaking Lamar and Jameer popped off.
Hey, man. And
I'm
simply,
happy for you, Jameer.
You lost 183 to 159. Not a bad effort by you, but simply Lamar Jackson for the third time this season with a 60-plus point effort in this one, man. Lamar Jackson is on an absolute tear in fantasy. Anybody that drafted him, maybe I should have as well. Man, he is going absolutely nuts. And the final matchup on our docket, Chase, my man, almost got off the snide, man. Oh no, actually,
No, he did.
win.
He did.
My bad. I had it mixed up in my write-up. But Chase finally gets off the snide, 118 to 103. He beats Justin, and Justin is beginning a spiral like we haven't seen, man. His team.
Hey. Throw a little respect on my team real quick. Jaden Daniels got hurt, and if he didn't get hurt, I am winning this game so easily. Okay. It's not even close.
If I'm gonna call out like Chase for his sometimes excuses, that come on, it happens. Justin, take the L, take it like.
No, I'll take the L, but like he's acting like I'm on a spiral.
Well,
I mean, Jaden Daniels got hurt.
What excuses am I ever making?
Dude.
Well, you made a lot of excuses for your commander.
I said it was wrong. I openly said it was wrong. It was a prediction.
Y'all laugh now. I'll make the playoffs. Don't you worry. Puka Nacua came back this week. Man. Nico Collins coming back in a week or two. TJ Hawkinson coming back this week. I just picked Pacheco off IR. Dude, you guys don't even know what's about to hit you.
That's good, man. But of course, Jay Daniels goes down. Only 5 points for him. Josh Downs 1 point, and Deontay Johnson 2 points. Eesh, it is a miserable effort by Juices this week. And if we can just go to the awards real quick, we'll start with the highest motor award. Of course, that goes to JB, who is not here with us today, but his team puts up 183 points. Shout out to Polk High for winning the highest motor award, but not the Freak Off Award. I know normally those go hand in hand, but not this week. Let's go to the doormat of the week, Justin. And you and Dante151 are co-doormats of the week, both putting up the same exact point total up to the 10th. But you guys only put up 103 points. Miserable effort by both of you. Dante, I expect to be here, but Justin, I expect better. And if we can go to the biggest loser award, that is the closest loss. Once again, that is you, Juices, losing by a margin of 15 points.
I'll remember this slander. Don't worry.
Hey, man, we all got to go through it except for your boy, but we all got to go through it, man. So it's okay.
I can't wait to hand you this fat L, KG.
You won't. But
I actually beat you already this year. I don't even want to hear it.
Has Justin ever lost, or has the time just ran out?
Yeah,
the time has ran out. Time just ran out.
Yeah,
we'll see. That loss, it actually was a win. Because in theory, in an alternate universe, Jaden Daniels actually played and balled out.
Yeah,
so he actually won.
You believe in the multiverse too?
Yeah. Not in this one, though. Not in this one, boy. Co-doormats of the week and biggest loser for Justin. And the award we have all been waiting for, the award that's near and dear to our hearts, the Freak Off Award for this week goes to who else, man? Freaky ass Broder. He is a 69 god, man. He put up a 60-point margin. A 60-point margin, man, on this is pretty bad, man.
Bro.
A 60-point margin on Dante151 this week. Shout out to Broder for winning the Freak Off Award. That is your week 7 in the WUW Crew Fantasy League.
Oh, man. My goodness, man. What
a week.
Oh my goodness, what a week. Good job as always with the organizing and keeping up with this stuff as well, KG, and everybody that's participating. It's fun to be a part of, man. Definitely fun to be a part of. And we'll read a couple of these Feldman Mailbag questions real quick. Steve-O, baby, Feldman Mailbag. Sam, weren't you the same guy that said Michigan would be 6-1? I'm just curious.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So we were wrong in our prediction and Michigan fell short of expectations. You got me. Ooh. Guess who else predicted they'd be 6-1? A lot of people. You did something, Steve-O. You did something real good. You got
Sticks talking-ish about fantasy basketball, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I'm going to get there. Alan W., am I the only one surprised about B-Ball Paul's role with the team? I thought he'd be more involved even in preseason. He only got garbage time minutes. I'm kind of there as well, but I do believe this is a situation where with the players in front of him, you got to let Stewart play. And then at a certain point in time, I think you'll probably see more of a switch towards
I mean, I was surprised by 0 minutes, but I didn't expect him to be a huge contributor.
Yep. And let me see here. Dante151, $5 super chat. Do any of you want Tank Dell in a trade? Anyone? I'm just asking.
We already made a deal.
I hate Optimizer, by the way.
All right, Justin swooped in. Nice.
Wait, you made a deal with who?
Dante.
Oh wow, I didn't even see that one.
We made it live on air.
Well, shout out.
I was just in chat. Chubba Hubbard for Tank Dell.
I will say this: he is taking that L and trying to make instant improvement. So that's nice.
I see you, Stick. Stick and I are facing off this week. in fantasy
God.
basketball this week, man.
No, so the names get me. So everybody know Kool-Aid is a big Cade Cunningham fan. The name of his team is Cade Zone. And the name of Stick's team is Fuck Cade. So, man, we have the matchup of Cade Zone versus Fuck Cade this week.
I don't hate Cade.
But who has Cade on their team?
I'm just disappointed in him.
That's the craziest work I've seen.
My team is only called Fuck Cade.
And who has Cade on their team? I swear it's Stick. I wanted Cade, bro.
If he has Cade on his team and his team is Fuck Cade,
yeah, that's
like
crazy.
that is low key, like excommunication out of Pistons fandom, low key.
Hey, did you hear that again? Stick just nutted again because the Pistons lost, even though Cade played well again, because that's what he really wants. That's why he chose them to win 40 wins. He's setting it up. He's setting it up to where Cade could literally average like 27, 7, and 7, and they win 38. And he's like, Cade.
Dunking on people.
He's setting it up.
I saw somebody say something, because here's another Pistons one. I'll read it first. Don Beats. Shout out to Don Beats. Becoming really, really one of those regulars now, man. Who has to be the X factor for the Pistons tonight if they're going to win in Cleveland?
X factor. I am going to go with, X Factor. That's a tough one. Can you call Tobias Harris an X Factor?
I think you can. Mine, I was actually going to go with a trio, but I'll let you finish. I would say yes, especially with my answer.
Because you saw it in the first game. I think you could argue that Tobias Harris in the first half was the best player on the court. And in the second half, it wasn't as great. So I would just like a more consistent outing, which you know he will, because he's been like an 18 a game guy for his whole career.
Yep.
Definitely. We saw it in that first half. For me, it's that trio of vets. We talked about Cade Cunningham. You don't remove him from the game. You have two strategies. Either rest him so he can be there in the fourth quarter, or either that trio of vets plus Ivy, they got to be there. I put it a little bit more on those trio of vets than I do Ivy, because those vets were brought in to do two things. Not just space the floor, but to bring that veteran availability presence on the court that they would be playing, I heard, in the big moments. I heard that they would stabilize the Pistons in those types of moments. So that trio of Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, and Tobias Harris, they have to be on, because the Pistons looked their best. When Cade was just dishing them the rock and he could let the offense come to him. He had 7 first half assists. The Pistons were shooting the three well. Those vets were leading the team in scoring. Tim Hardaway got things started with a bang. They got to be on down the stretch.
Yep. I actually like your answer better. All three of them. Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah.
And I actually got one too. It's a very simple answer, and it's probably even a lame answer, but whoever can close the damn game out.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. Yeah. Like, that was ridiculous to watch. Someone's got to take control. They can't let their offense start slipping like that, and then their defense was atrocious as well. But shout out to JB Bickerstaff. You could
in the second half.
In the second half, yes. Yeah. But shout out to JB Bickerstaff. You could tell the improvements that he's made and that he's been effective as the coach of the Pistons thus far.
And honestly, I think a lot of fans do feel the way you do. But with this being a whole new rebuild and such, I'm bullish on them. They showed me more in that one game and through this preseason than I could really grasp hold of with the last regime.
That's fair.
That's a fact.
That's fair.
And I think they could beat the Cavs tonight. Just
talk
being
about
real.
it. Give it to me.
Hey, listen, JB Bickerstaff. JB Bickerstaff knows this Cav team better than anybody. And if we could get better efforts offensively from your veterans, I think everything else they did in that first game was on point, man. The defense was there. Even in the second half, it wasn't the best defense, but it wasn't the worst either. They just gotta score, man. You cannot go on a scoring drought and leave shooters open like that. So I think they can win this game tonight. Will it be close? Absolutely. But I got the Pistons winning by a few points.
That's right. Chase with the Pistons hat. The only one on today.
Yeah. I got it at the arena the other night when we went to the opening night game.
Shout out, man. What up, though, man? How you feeling about this game?
I'm feeling good, man. I mean, I'm going to just wait till we're about maybe 15, 20 games into the season before really make an assessment of the team. Got some new players, new coaches. So thought they played hard. Thought we were right there, and just a couple more shots fall, then we won that game. So
definitely, and that's what I'm hoping to see. I think that's where all of us are right now. Our keys to the game is how this team not just rests on the improvements that we see, but how do you capitalize on the improvements that you're making, and that's how you close these games. I have a lot of faith in these vets. I really do.
I do too.
I do. I think Ivy and Durant are going to continue to grow. Pistons basketball, man. Let's get off to a much better start. It's a tough start to the season, but I'm bullish on them. I'm bullish on them on against the Celtics at home Saturday night too. I am.
What do you mean by bullish?
I think they got an opportunity to win that game.
Against the Celtics?
Against the Celtics.
Hey, man.
I'm not mad at it.
Cade plays the Celtics tough.
I'm mad at it.
Yeah.
He plays them tough.
He does.
God, that would talk about bricked up. The Celtics. Are you kidding? Man.
Yeah. They look like a wagon right
we
now.
We need the Pistons to be good. I think that's one of our most kumbaya sports, man, teams. Like
But to your point, the Pistons are going to beat a lot of teams that they probably shouldn't beat this year, and you'll be like, how the hell did they win that game?
Yeah. Yep. Is that a show, fellas?
That's a show.
That's a show. And we talked almost every single sport. We talked all the ones that are active right now. And chat family was electric and on one. You guys are running up those likes. Shout out to Chase as well, kicking off the show in the TD. I know that you're going to continue to expand your roles here. Thank you, guys like you and that dude Justin, for just being willing and honestly being competent. Shout out to you, intern Chase. What up, though?
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunities. Just looking to make the most of them, and appreciating the opportunity, the ability to be here and hang out with you guys.
Definitely, brother. That dude Justin in the TD booth. What up, though? It's a Friday in the TD booth now.
Friday in the titty booth. Always be lit. Hey, so glad to be with the crew. I miss it every day, honestly. When I have to edit all your show clips and I gotta watch you guys having all this fun, it's honestly painful. So it's great to be back here for today and hang out with the crew.
It's dope, man. Justin in the last social media was like, Kool-Aid, I'm gonna be in town Friday. It's like dope, man. I know all of us. KG saw you through the window when he was walking in. I saw your car. I know the others. We're excited, man, to just when we have the team here.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to KG in the sound booth. Detroit's #1 draft pick. What up, though, brother?
Hey, shout out to the team, man. This was a great episode. We pushed through. It's Friday. Ready to get up out of here, man. But shout out to the chat. We love y'all. Appreciate the support. And yeah, man, it's going to be a great weekend. Look forward to talking to y'all next week, man.
Hey, let's get that to the side. That right there, the vet of the squad and the network. Hey, as always, the more things change, the more Flannel Sam stays the same. What up, though, bro?
Hey, Justin, good to see you. I didn't know you were coming, so it was a nice, pleasant surprise. And Michigan, don't lose to State. Get up for this game. Treat it. And you know what? If MSU can treat Michigan like their Super Bowl, Michigan, treat MSU like your Super Bowl, because that's one of the few things you really have to play for in terms of the totality of the season. Beat State,
yes,
please.
Sir. Go Blue, go Pistons, man.
I see people in the chat. Scuba, the Pistons are better, it seems. And that's after a loss. But I think it's different, man. We saw this squad last year. I showed you guys some of the stuff behind the scenes. Talking to certain players and coaches, within the organization. Yeah, this year is so much more different. I do believe that the Pistons are in a much better place leadership-wise this year. So it's your boy Brandon Dan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer of the network. Appreciate you guys for kicking off your day with the WUW Crew. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't gotten an opportunity to on your way out, and share this stream. And let's go Lions. Let's go Michigan for our Sparty fans out there. Shout out to y'all as well. Go Lions. Go all of our teams, man. Go Red Wings. It's been a show. Have a blessed one, you guys.